And we'll have an update on the Spurs defender Mickey van der Ven's future. Transfer show, which means breaking news right at the top of the programme. What have you got, Michael Bridge?
It's big breaking news, and it's for you, Leeds United fans. You have signed England goalkeeper James Trafford from Manchester City for a club record fee. Now, the deal was worth an initial £40 million plus add-ons, and he's joined Leeds United on a 5-year deal, and his arrival takes Leeds spending to north of around £70 million. Now, we understand Trafford was Leeds' top goalkeeper target, and they hope to bring stability to what has been a problem position for some time, we understand. But this is a really, really big signing for Leeds United. Of course, Harry Wilson as well, brilliant for Fulham, Premier League experience, and now James Trafford has signed for Leeds United from Manchester City for a club record fee for initial £40 million plus add-ons. Great news for Leeds United fans.
There's a picture of him smiling there. I think he's going to be smiling a lot more than he was last summer. Well, he was really excited about a move to Manchester City, a return to Manchester City when they exercised that buyback clause from Burnley, only for Manchester City to go back into the market, having been assured that he was going to be number one, and then bringing in Gianluigi Donnarumma. Having said all of that, he ended up being Manchester City's cup goalkeeper. What did they end up doing last season? They ended up winning the Carabao Cup by beating Arsenal in the final at Wembley, and then winning the FA Cup final by beating Chelsea in the final at Wembley as well. So he goes away with 2 winners' medals, having started both of those finals, but he wanted to be the number one at Manchester City. It didn't happen. It looks like it will at Ellen Road.
Great signing for Leeds. So, James Trafford has left City. Is the World Cup winning captain Rodri on his way out too? Dharmesh?
Let's make this clear, first of all, from Manchester City's perspective, they want to keep Rodri. They want to tie him down to a new contract. Now, throughout this summer, we do know the talk has been he's into the final year of his contract. Will he sign a new deal, or will Manchester City cash in the final window that they realistically can cash in? Real Madrid appeared to be the likely destination for Rodri, but now another club has come in with interest, and it's not just any club, because Real Madrid know all about this one. It's Barcelona, and Barcelona have entered the fray to try and sign Rodri. If he doesn't sign a new contract at Manchester City and then Man City decide that they are going to sell, it's thought that Barcelona have got a degree of confidence that he might choose Barcelona over Real Madrid. If you go back to the World Cup, he was a captain of that World Cup Spanish team. 8 Barcelona players were in that squad as well, so he will know a lot of that squad, will Rodri. Having said all of that, the ball is still in City's court in one way, because regardless of whether he signs a new contract or not, he still is under contract for another year. So it's going to be up to Manchester City to decide, do we keep him and forego a transfer fee and then allow him to go for free next summer? But as it stands, it's Real Madrid and Barcelona who want Rodri, and because they both want him, it's going to put the price up, because now suddenly City could play both clubs against each other.
But Michael, numbers being talked about are between 43 and 51 million pounds. This is a Ballon d'Or winner. This is, as Dharmesh says, the World Cup winning captain. He's worth 3-4 times that. Why would City sell him for peanuts?
They won't want to. I mean, Enzo Maresca, when he joined Manchester City, he's got a very tough job on his hands replacing, many people feel, one of the greatest of all time. And what a job you've got anyway. And to have it without Rodri, that is tough. And you'd feel with Enzo Maresca, knowing Enzo Maresca, like we're getting to know him from his Chelsea days, I'm sure Rodri would have been in conversation when those talks took place. And I'd be really surprised if they didn't say to him, of course you're going to have Rodri. For me, it would need Rodri to tell Enzo Maresca and Manchester City, I want to go now. Because for me, a Rodri-less Manchester City next season is going to be very tough.
We're talking about the pricing, though, Mike.
Yeah, go on.
Manchester City could point towards Newcastle United selling Bruno Guimaraes for £75 million. 2 differences, though. Bruno Guimaraes is 28, he's going to be 29 later on this year. Rodri has just turned 30, and I know people go on about when a player turns 30.
You don't stop being a good player if you're
I
over
completely
30.
agree with that, but he has entered the final year of his contract.
Yeah. So why wouldn't City hang on and go, do you know what? Give us another year, win us the title, away you go. Because it's not enough money to sell him now,
But
surely.
that is a decision that they're going to have to make. Would they be willing to forego, say it is 50 or 60 million pounds for one more year of Rodri? That's going to be a decision that's not only going to be down to Enzo Maresca, because he will say, I want Rodri to stay and start my new era. But ideal scenario from a club's perspective, they want Rodri not only to start Enzo Maresca's era, they want him to be there for years to come. Yet they want him to sign a new contract. They want to tie him down for a bit longer.
I've got to stop you there, Dharmesh. I'm hearing there's breaking news. Michael.
Yeah, sorry. Look, this is someone we're going to talk about very soon. Vinny Jr., obviously linked with Arsenal. Arsenal wanted him, but we can now confirm, and Real Madrid have confirmed, that he's extended his contract at Real Madrid until June the 30th, 2032. This is just broken on Real Madrid's Spanish Twitter. Vinny Jr. has become one of the most important players in one of the most successful periods in our history. So, of course, Arsenal wanted him, but he, as we've said over the last few days, we expect him to remain at Real Madrid, and he will remain at Real Madrid. A contract extension until 2032.
Dharmesh, does this make sense to everybody apart from Arsenal?
No, I think it makes sense to everyone, including Arsenal. Arsenal were interested in Vinicius Jr., but they knew that the only way they were going to get Vinicius Jr. is if he didn't agree a new contract with Real Madrid. He is entering the final year of his contract. Gary Cottrell has been reporting throughout this transfer window, as Michael alluded to there, that Vinicius Jr. was going to be at Real Madrid beyond this summer's transfer window. There was positive contract talks during the week between Vinicius Jr. and the club. By all accounts, the relationship between Jose Mourinho and Vinicius Jr. is a good one. They want him to be part of the long-term planning at Real Madrid under Jose Mourinho. After those positive contract talks, it reaffirmed Gary's story that he was going to stay beyond, and now Real Madrid have just confirmed it, and it's a 6-year contract. Arsenal were always aware that Vinicius Jr. signing a new contract at Real Madrid, that puts an end to any interest that they could have. But while he still had a year left on his contract, it was always wise for Arsenal to keep an eye on his situation. And it should be noted here that Arsenal went into this interest for Vinicius Jr. knowing that if he didn't sign a new contract, there was a likelihood that he would choose Arsenal, number one, but also Arsenal were positioning themselves to be able to do a deal, however big those financials were going to be. Because I know that was the question we were asking all week. How can Arsenal afford this? Well, clearly they could, because they would not show an interest in a player such as Vinicius Jr. and all of the financials that are attached to Vinicius Jr. without knowing that they could have done a deal if it was available.
But the good news for Arsenal, though, they're going for someone of that level.
Exactly.
Years and years we've had Arsenal making their squad bigger and better. Mikel Arteta made tough decisions at the start of his tenure. Yeah. Goodbye Ozil, goodbye Aubameyang. He got criticised for that. And now it's not about making their squad depth bigger. It's about adding one or two players, turning it from Champions League finalists to winners. I don't see this as a huge blow.
Yeah, I don't think this is like a snub and Arsenal have missed out on Vinicius Jr. Like I've explained before, Andrea Berta has that strategy where he will try and get down the line with 3 or 4 different targets. Now, Vinicius Jr., I don't know how far they would have got down the line with Vinicius Jr. because there are still contract talks going on with Real Madrid. That pursuit of Vinicius Jr. is going to accelerate if they are getting indications from Vinicius Jr. and Real Madrid this contract might not get signed. But clearly, they've had positive contract talks during the week. And you could argue, cynics will say, well, has Vinicius Jr. maybe used Arsenal's interest to try and get a better deal at Real Madrid? There might be an element of that, but that doesn't discount the fact that Arsenal were genuinely interested in bringing a player of his stature to the Emirates.
OK, so Vinny Jr. stays at Real Madrid, and they've added in that position today as well, Michael.
Yeah, Jan Diamonde from RB Leipzig, a huge deal worth up to £120 million, 107 million guaranteed. We get this a lot now on the transfer show. Guaranteed, straight fee, £107 million. Now, we've spoken about him before, PSG, Liverpool, Arsenal, City. Every top club has watched this player, but he is going to Real Madrid, and we look at who Real Madrid have signed. Bernardo